Hi there, my name is Nathan Whiteside, and I'm the founder of Divine Prosperity. I wanted to talk to you just for a quick minute here about who I am, what I'm about, give you a sense of where I'm coming from so you can decide if you would like to work with me or not. Now, the foundation of Divine Prosperity at its very heart is really about integrity. And I spend a lot of time and energy and effort making sure that where I'm coming from is a place of the deepest integrity possible. And the reason for that is because what I'm looking for is really the deepest truth of how to live my life and how to harness the power of divinity in order to make my life work as good as possible. Now, you can't harness the power of divinity in the sense that you can master it or control it or be in charge of it, but you can become in alignment with it. And that's where integrity comes in. You have to be in integrity with your intentions, with your choices, with the actions that you pursue, so that in alignment with divinity, you aren't just working on your own, but you're working in conjunction with a much larger power. And as it turns out, that power is actually the only power in the universe. Uh, who we are is that divinity. So to do anything else means to work against your own self. And not only against yourself, but also everything else in the universe, the entire planet, all the animals, the trees, the people, all that is coming from the same source. And so if you're not in alignment with that source, then you're going to find yourself in opposition to just about everything. So really the only way to get into a position where you're actually um, tapping into a truly abundant source is by getting into alignment with absolutely everything, with the source of everything that exists in the universe. Now, the the other thing that's important to understand about living in this level of integrity is that it's really our own personal egos that get in the way of that. The ego basically exists as a vehicle for experience. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not here to tell you that the ego is bad or that your ego is bad or that people shouldn't have egos. Clearly, we do have them, and they wouldn't be here if the divine had not intended to create them and had not gone through all the trouble to make them. So they serve their purpose. But for many of us, we've kind of gotten to the point in our journey where it's really not that fun anymore. It's not interesting to us to, just sort of live at the beck and call of this aspect of consciousness that lives in complete disconnect from divinity, from source, from abundance. Its very nature is to exist in a state of lack. And as such, as long as you're doing what the ego wants you to do, you're never going to find fulfillment. The ego has a way of trying to get its needs met, but never in a way that is really permanent, never in a way that is fully satisfactory. There's always some way in which it holds on to a sense of lack in order to keep itself alive. So, you might, from an ego place, create a very prosperous lifestyle, but if it's coming from a place of ego, there's going to be something missing. Either you don't spend enough time with your family, or you don't have very satisfying work. You're not helping anybody. Nobody is coming to you, telling you what a difference that you made in their life. There's something that will be kind of missing, and you see this a lot with some people who are very rich and just kind of hoard it to themselves. There's nothing wrong with being incredibly, fabulously wealthy. But if you're just keeping it to yourself, if you're not giving back in any way whatsoever, that's a sign that there's something out of balance there, and that you're not really in connection with divinity, with the source of everything. Because if you were, you couldn't help but to share the abundance that has been given to you with others. So a lot of the work that I do here is in helping people. First, of course, by working on myself and my own ego, and getting to a truer place of my own essence. And as I dive into that deeper place, it becomes easier for me to see, not just in myself, but in other people, where the ego is getting in the way, and where the ego is subtly creating disconnect and creating lack and creating situations where it would be impossible to live an abundant lifestyle. So the work that I do is all centered around bringing the self, the individual person, in alignment with divinity. That means addressing subconscious issues and subconscious wounds that are getting in the way, identities that are getting in the way, and the ego. You get all these things out of the way, then you still have to have some, practical applications for, what you want to do. You can't just sit in a room and meditate and have a business just, come out of nothingness. You have to actually create a business or go to school and get an education so that you can do the work that you love. There are practical things that you still have to do. This isn't a way to get out of that. This is just a way to make that work as graceful and as easy as possible so that when you go and you get that education, you don't have that voice inside your head telling you you can't do it. And if you do have that voice inside your head telling you that you can't do it, you have a way of addressing that. You have a way of dealing with that so that it doesn't become an insurmountable obstacle. It just becomes, a challenge along the way, something that you can meet. Life will show you where your rough edges are, where you're stuck, where you have internal voices that are telling you things that are trying to sort of keep you in lack or keep you smaller than what you really are. And so if you go out into the world and apply practical knowledge, practical know-how to build a business or to get the job that you've always wanted, you'll find the places where you're kind of stuck. And then if you have a process for dealing with that, you can get to the other side of it. And then it doesn't have to be as much of an issue. And if you truly transform it at its root level, then every time that happens, you become more free. And then you become more free again. And then you become more free again. So that's the approach that I work from here. Just wanted to give you a sense about that. I would love to work with you if you resonate with anything that I've said here. And if you have any questions, by all means, contact me, email, or I think my phone number will be available here as well. So good luck to you, and I hope to work with you soon. Thanks so much.